and welcome to episode 8 of the Lonely Knitter podcast. Hi, if you're a new viewer, welcome. My name is Laura and usually I say I'm coming to you from my home in the most easterly town in England. Today I'm not coming to you from my home. I am in the most easterly town in England, but I am coming to you from my studio space. If you haven't seen any of my back episodes, old videos, there are many. Whilst this may be episode 8, that is only because I sort of started again after 80 something episodes and had a little refresh. But there is lots of my history on YouTube. So yeah, if you're new, welcome. Come on into the chaos. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. As I mentioned, I am coming to you from my studio space. As some of you know, especially if you follow me on Instagram, which is where I'm most active, that I have been slowly moving in to a studio and I am now here. It is chaos. There is half-built IKEA flat pack everywhere. But it's getting there very slowly and I wanted to record a video. There will be a studio vlog coming of me just setting up this general chaos. I might put it up quite soon, I might put it up in multiple parts, but I wanted to record a podcast today because it's almost the half-term holidays. My children will be out of school for a week. We are taking them up to Scotland for a few days and I just wanted to be able to get a video out before then and talk about all the madness that's been going on. So yeah. If you've not heard of me before and you've just found me on YouTube, hi! You can find me as The Lonely Knitter on YouTube, but as Folk Yarn Studio over on Instagram. So I've recently changed that name over on my Instagram account, just because I do dye yarn as The Lonely Knitter and I do podcast as The Lonely Knitter. But I also am the creator of Folk, which is an East Anglian 100% British wool yarn, totally unique blend. And I'm also the director of East Anglia Yarn Festival, which is an annual yarn show, quite a large yarn show now, based in Norwich. So yeah, there was quite a lot of things that I was doing and they weren't all really encompassed under The Lonely Knitter. The Lonely Knitter isn't going anywhere. That's still how I come to... Is that my hair? Look at that. That is still how I come to YouTube to chat. And it's still the name that I die under. But Folk, East Anglia, the studio, everything that was coming up around my business, I have done a little bit of an Instagram rebrand. Called it Folk Yarn Studio. And then Folk Yarn Studio is where EOYF is organised, it's where folk yarn comes from, it's where Lonely Knitter yarn is dyed. So that's my little backstory to that if you were following already and are like, what's going on, Laura? I have had a few messages and I am very grateful that some of my lovely friends that I've met on here, lots of folks have checked in on me throughout all of this process and yeah, I'm grateful for you guys. I need to say a thank you to everybody who spoke to me after my last video as well about my teeth journey. I'm just going to mention it quickly here and then be done with it because it is a little bit embarrassing, but I am on a little bit of a journey with my teeth and I've had to go private for some treatment, which isn't something that I would have chosen to do and it's not really something that I can afford either, but unfortunately NHS dentistry is not supported in the way it should be. And yeah, so I feel like I'm talking really differently and my teeth feel really big. I haven't had implants or anything. All I've had is a couple of teeth removed and some fillings done and a scale and polish. But it's been a bit of a huge thing for me because I am deathly afraid of the dentist and yeah, have been struggling for quite a while. So now I am missing a few teeth. Everything feels very weird in my mouth. And I've definitely noticed over the last few weeks that I am talking differently and everything feels very different. So if you notice subtle changes with my face or how I'm talking, that is why. And yes, I am very self-conscious of it, but I was very, very grateful for all of the support I had, especially over on Instagram when I had a little chat about the real talk with my teeth, and I just wanted to say thanks guys, I appreciate you. I am going to try and look at the dot. I always forget to look at the dot. I'm sorry. I know that there are people who find that really aggravating if they're watching on a larger screen as well, that I'm not staring at the camera, because I film and I can see myself on the screen, and my face gravitates towards my own face, which is awful. Anyway, jumping on with the podcast because I need to be speedy because it's nearly time for the school run. I'm not going to show you around the studio at the moment. It is in chaos. I am still moving in. I am still building furniture. There is a lot of cardboard in here. Yeah, a lot of things that need to be recycled or taken to all sorts of other places. But I am getting there and I cannot wait. It is a studio, but it will be open to the public, open studios every now and then. There will be some details once it's up and going. So if you are local to Lowestoft, which is the town that I am in East Anglia, then yeah, and you fancy a visit, keep an eye on my social medias. There will be stuff coming up there in the future. So I'm going to put my knitting down because otherwise I'm not going to start talking. And I just realised that I've left some stuff over there and it's really frustrating, but I might jump up and get it in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is my giveaway. Now, I am going to draw the winner of the giveaway for this last video that I put up. So last video, if you haven't seen it, go and have a little look. It was my walk around the new Edinburgh based yarn show Woolly Good. I grabbed Laura from the future. Yeah. I was editing this video back and realised that the quality was really bad when I started to hold the giveaway things up to the camera. They focused on my face. I thought I had done a great job when I was recording it, but it was focusing on my face, not on the things. And then when right at the end it did focus on a thing, well, on a yarn, when I then put that down, it focused on Norma, my crocheted sheep that my lovely friend crocheted me, that was sat behind me. I'm sure Norma's crocheted. Yes, she is. Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at Norma. Sat behind me, focused completely on her face, and I was a fuzzy blur until I leant forward a little while later. So I'm just re-recording the giveaway section and inserting it into the video because yeah, it needed to happen, as much as I'm sure you'll have all been absolutely fine just watching Norma instead. So yeah, Laura from a week and a half in the future. Sorry guys, had all the best intentions of uploading straight away and my time just ran away with me. Anyway, so I'm just going to show you the 3 things for, I'm in a different part of the studio at the moment, as you can probably tell by the way, but I'm just going to show you the 3 things that I have for a giveaway. So one of them was, if you don't remember from the last episode, this gorgeous little notions pouch, and the other was this skein of Ripples Crafts. I hope this is the one that I picked up and showed in the last one. I'm sure it was because I put it to one side, but now I'm not 100%. But either way, it's beautiful because I had 2, because I got one for stash for me and one to give away. But this is a skein of Ripples Crafts, says the logo, and it is a singles and it is beautiful. And this one is the day Monet visited the dye shed. It's 100 grams, 366 meters of 100% wool, and it says wool content is merino, and it is a singles yarn. So those 2 came home with me from Edinburgh, and then I added in a skein of folk, and I've grabbed this one. This is Oulton Broad, which is where I live. Or I live in Oulton, but yeah, this is Oulton Broad, and it is a gorgeous rich dark blue. It's 100 grams, fingering weight, 400 meters, and it is my own unique blend of folk. So folk is my yarn. I think I've talked about it before. I am going to do a little video to put on YouTube. There is a few videos and bits and bobs over on Instagram, but I will put up a little video at some point talking about it. It actually goes on sale online for the first time tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, Wednesday, 5th of June at 7 PM BST, if you fancy getting your hands on some. But it's my unique blend of East Anglian wool. So basically, we've sourced fibre from all around East Anglia and then made up a blend that is unique to folk, and it is 60% Romney, 20% BFL and 20% Suffolk. It's 100% wool. It's sent up to Yorkshire, and some of it's all spun, some of it is also dyed, and then it's come back to me in Lowestoft. And yeah, it's no air miles, 100% squishy goodness, supporting local farms. And yeah. So I thought I would pair it with this one. You absolutely do not have to use them together. They're very different in terms of their makeup. Obviously this is applied yarn and this is a singles. I do think they look good together, but you don't have to use them together, of course. You can do whatever you want with them. Maybe 100% wool isn't for you and you end up passing it on. But yeah, so this was my prize. 2 things that travel back with me from Edinburgh that I purchased at the show, at the Woolly Good Gathering, and one that is all me that I've added in. And then I have gone through and done a random number generator, and the winner for this one is Debbie Shipley 8830 from the comments on the last video, and the comment was, "Lovely to see you again, Laura. You 3 truly had a good time." We did, definitely. A single skein shawl or a hat would be beautiful, knit in that beautiful yarn, and I do agree. A single skein shawl or a hat. I have read all the comments, and I think my air freshener just went off. I don't know if you heard that, but just like puffed air freshener out above me. And a few people mentioned like Musselburgh hats and stuff like that, which this is so squishy, it would have been perfect for those. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that hat if you haven't made it already. But yeah, Debbie Shipley 8830. If you send me a message, you can send me a message on Instagram, or you can send me an email. To do that, just go over to my website. It will be linked below, Folk Yarn Studio, and there's a contact us page, and you can just fill in the form there and just let me know where to send your prize out to. Yeah, that was it. Anyway, I am going to be doing more giveaways in the future, and what I'm thinking is I will put this episode up, and I have a lot more to record and talk about very soon, so that will be on a coming episode. I don't think there's going to be one on this one. I can't remember. I might butt in. You might see Laura from the future again at some point. I can't remember what I've already planned out. Anyway, I'm going to send you back to Laura of the past, and yeah, let her bumble on. Now that I have done that, I'm just going to quickly whiz through some things that I have been making, some plans that I have, and a couple of things that I finished but aren't quite done with the finishing. So if I move on to finished objects first, they're sort of finished objects. It's never that simple with me. So the first thing that I have finished is this. This is a pressed flowers cowl, but it isn't finished because I haven't grafted the 2 ends together. So at the moment it's kind of a pressed flowers scarf, which I don't mind. I don't even mind the back. I love seeing the back of people's colour work. I am one of those people. So this is the back of the colour work and this is the front. So this was a really popular pattern that was made into a shawl, and then I think a cardigan, and then the cowl, and all the things pressed flowers. I cannot remember the designer's name for the life of me, so it is Pressed Flowers by and yeah, I loved it. The colour work was fascinating, like really kept me going. When I was finished, I made the smallest version, so I wasn't sure how much yarn I needed at the time. Like when I cast on, I didn't really look at it clearly, and I was just like, I have 1 skein of Oulton board, this is DK, Oulton board DK, and then 1 skein of, I think it was Aurora, which is folk yarn dyed by the Crafty Bird. So my lovely friend Robyn of the Crafty Bird dyed this colourway, which I think is her Aurora, Sleeping Beauty reference, and then I paired it with Oulton board, and I loved it. So I'd made this, I think it was this, and this is like the smallest version of the cowl. Well, that obviously would be like a single wrap cowl. And I thought, well, I want some mindless knitting now. So instead of repeating the colourwork pattern, which I knew I had enough to do again, I decided to just do the plain like background and just carry on. And so I just did that for a while until I was happy with the length, and now I am pretty sure I could get a double wrap once my head is in it. I could get a double wrap. So I need to graft the 2 ends together and weave my ends in, but I'm really happy. I have blocked it, which is step ahead for me. Yeah, I have blocked it. I blocked it in the studio. It was the first thing that I blocked in the studio. And now I have hair in my mouth. But yeah, so this is folk yarn. It's my first completed 2 skein folk yarn project. And yeah, it makes me really happy because one is one of the original folk yarn colours, the Oulton board, and then one is dyed by my friend. So it's 2 skeins of DK, and I have leftovers of both as well. I could have kept going, but I was just happy with where I was done. So yeah, I need to graft it together and take some pictures, and then it will be officially finished. But now I've shown it to you here, it's probably not going to pop back up on the podcast because it's finished. The other project that I finished is my Grove shawl. Again, designers' names, I'm gonna mess them up because my memory is awful. So the Grove shawl, and it is using lots of skeins. I think it's a 4 skein project from my Game of Thrones collection, which was yarn that came out last year. I cast this on last year and I just didn't finish it. I got so far through. It is massive. It's 4 skeins of DK, and yeah, I cast on at this end. You're going to see what I've done in a minute. It's awful. Cast on at this end, but I lost track somewhere in the middle and made it a little bit too big. And then when I realised that I had way too many stitches and I'd been going on for further than I should, I didn't want to rip back because I'm lazy and it's my knitting. Why would anyone else care? So if I don't care, that's fine. So then I just started to decrease, but because I had used too much here, I then needed to use too much here to get to here. And I basically realised I stole a little bit of yarn from another skein to sort of make it up. It was meant to work out of 4 skeins of DK, and did it? No, it didn't, because I had used too much in the middle. It's my own fault, it's fine. But it meant that at the very end I was running out of yarn, and also because I had to start this section earlier than I should have done, so I was running out of yarn, and I was bored and I wanted to cast on other things. Laura from the future again. I just realised that comment that I made about it being that I got bored is really rude to the designer, and I feel really bad about it. The pattern was not boring. I just want to put that out there. I went for the garter squish. I know that that is not all of the like lots and lots of details in terms of interesting knitting. I love garter knitting. The issue with me being bored is more down to the fact that I'm incredibly distractible and new things call my name like crazy. So there is nothing wrong with this pattern in terms of the fun levels. The fun is there, guys. So I gave it a stumpy end. So this is my Grove shawl, but one end is stumpy. Like, I'm gonna show you the stumpy end comparison. Gorgeous, like sweeping, long, pointy end. Stumpy end. So it's a really wonky Grove shawl, but I mean, I will have Game of Thrones colourways popping up in the shop. I've got some in stock now that I will put back in the shop, and I will dye these again because I love them. But ultimately, the shawl's going to be worn by me. Yes, it is a sample, but you can still see the colours even if it is a stumpy shawl, or stumpy on one end, and I will wear it. And it is so squishy because it's all DK and it's really comfy. I'm not ripping it back. I love it. It's mine, I'm keeping it, so... So yeah, the Grove shawl, but ruined the pattern. I've ruined the pattern, but I'm okay with it. Yeah, it's unique. I haven't blocked it yet, which is crazy because this is going to grow. I haven't woven in any of the ends. It's going to grow so much. It's huge already, and it's like a blanket shawl. I am so looking forward to it being cold because at the moment it's, I don't think I said what date it was. It's Friday the 24th of April. No, May. It's Friday the 24th of May. I'm a whole month out. And it's getting hot. And it's nice in my studio. My studio is really cool. So there are times that I would happily snuggle with this. I'd happily snuggle up with this now. But in the winter, I can imagine wanting this squished around me. So yeah, I have 2 finished objects. I know they're not really finished. I don't care. I'm calling them finished. So onto whips. Again, I have to move fast because it's nearly time to go. The whip that I am currently working on here is a shawl, stole, scarf pattern that I've had in my head for forever. Now, it is the most, oh, and I've dropped a stitch. It is the most, now I'm going to pick it up whilst recording. Could stop recording, don't have time. It is the most simple thing ever. It has got an I-cord edge, which I guess is slightly less than it being the most simple thing ever, but it has an I-cord edge. But other than that, this really is just going to be a rectangle with pointed ends. I'm working it out of 2 skeins of folk yarn, and what I'm really finding at the moment is that I want to be able to sit and knit in front of the TV. I want to be able to sit and knit while I am reading. It's my resting position, and usually I would pick socks. I would always pick socks. I don't know what's going on with me at the moment. I'm off my sock jag. It's not that I don't love socks. I do love socks. I love to knit socks. But at the moment, I'm wanting to knit all of the scarves, shawls, and accessory knit things. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So this was something, I wanted something that was brainless. And there are so many potato chip, as they say, knitting projects that I could have chosen. I just have had this idea in my head for a really long time, and it's a really simple idea. So I'm going to make it. I am weighing my yarn after each one of these stripes that I'm doing, and when I write it up, I will be able to give all details of how to use it for, I thought, maybe advents and lots of other projects. It's just, well, technically I think it's a stole, but it's just a big rectangular shawl. You can make it as wide or as skinny as you want to. It's going to be a really versatile, really easy, really basic pattern. So once I've finished, I will write it up. I will get it tested, of course I will, because I wouldn't expect anybody to knit a pattern and make something without it actually working. But it will be a free pattern when I then release it, so it won't be a charged for thing. I am totally up for all designers earning a fair wage, and I have multiple patterns for sale on my website and my Ravelry that I have designed. But for me, for this pattern, I really like, this isn't something I want to charge for. This is something that I would like to give out. So yeah, I'm excited about it, but also hoping that I can make it work with all different sort of version options in the pattern for you to be able to use it for advent, to be able to use it for scrappy things, all sorts. So I'm using 2 skeins of folk yarn. This is, I'm going to butcher it. Is it this? I think this is Rose Garden. Now, again, this is a folk yarn project for me. So this is the Fibre Fox. My friend Georgie dyed some folk yarn as well back when it was released. And this, I think, is Rose Garden. And I might be wrong, and I'm so sorry if I am. And this is Beccles, and Beccles is the town that I grew up in, and this is 2 skeins of fingering weight that I'm working in. I'm just going to see how big I can get it, and to be honest, after this stripe, I'm probably going to then go rectangle and make it a skinny sort of scarfy stole. So yeah, this is where I'm at the moment, and it's living in this gorgeous bag from, I bought it in, this is the Wildwood Stitches bag that I showed, a very battered postcard now, in my last video that I got from Edinburgh, from the Really Good Gathering, and I love it to bits. My mushroom bag, so it's just been living in there. At the bottom's like the Harris tweed, and I'm going back to Scotland next week, so it's coming with me, taking my Harris tweed back to Scotland. So I'm working on that, but over the last couple of weeks I have done a few other things as well. The first one is the Pixie pullover from, oh my gosh, I didn't put a stitch marker in the end, and I've just ripped out a load of the stitches. Oh well, I've only just started. This is the Pixie pullover by Kelly Phelps, Craft and a Cuppa. It's the very beginning. I have a load of this Stylecraft DK in the mocha colour that I bought ages ago to make my lovely friend Laura, my absolute best friend in the world, but she is not a yarnie. I'm working on it, guys. I've been working on it for 7 years. I'll get there eventually. She wanted the Pixie pullover. Now this woman is my lifeline. Yeah, I so many times I have thought, like, all mums need another mum who is going through things with them at the same time, because life is hard sometimes, and she gets it. We have children. They were our oldest 2. We both have 2 children. They're both similar ages, like sets are similar ages, and my daughter was born 3 days before her son, or 4 days before her son, and yeah, she's my best friend. Anyway, I said ages ago that I would make her the pixie pullover, and I bought all the yarn to do it with, and I never did anything with it. And this week I wanted to get started, and I swatched, and I was slightly not on gauge, so I changed the size of my hook, and I did not re-swatch because I hate swatches, and I did one swatch, so come on, at least I did one, right? And then I started, and this is all I've done, and it feels like it's going to be too big because she's quite small, but I'm technically good on the measurements, so I will carry on. But crochet is not my number one skill. It is all hard effort for me, and I have to stare at it, and I don't do it like I'm meant to, which I am totally fine with now because I've come to the internet about that many times, and everyone is like, well, if you get crochet at the end, you're good. So yeah, I have started. We'll see how it goes. I'm just going to pick it up every now and then and try and get a few stitches done. The other thing that I have worked on is a knitting project, and I showed this in my last video, but it is the kit from Sincerely Louise for the seagull, which is a chip in its mouth. Now, I was going to hold on to this and knit it and put it somewhere in the studio sometime soon, and on the first day that I was in the studio, like setting up, I heard a tap 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 like on the door, and I turned around expecting to see a person come to talk to me, and no, it was a massive seagull tapping its beak against the window. So yeah, and it was staring at me. I took a picture. I'll put my picture in. It's not a very good picture. It's a little bit fuzzy, but I put it in anyway. And yeah, that was it. I wanted to make the seagull. So the seagull is living in this little jelly bag, and I have many parts made. I've got all the big parts are all done. All the big parts are done. I think I'm working on wings at the moment. I've just put it down because I've had other things and I need to concentrate and be able to look at the pattern. So again, that's when I need to concentrate on something, I can work on it. But if I'm sitting in front of the telly, it's not that project. So those are the 3 projects that I have worked on this week. But I have more plans, especially because we're going to Scotland. I'm not going to get a lot of work done. There is a big drive. I think it's like 9.5 hours to get to where we're staying. So I have plans. Not all of these plans. These are all not coming with me. But as I've been sorting things out to come to the studio, my stash is living at home. I've been moving it into my wardrobe. And I came across 3 blanket whips. Now I have a lot more than 3 blanket whips. But these 3 specifically popped out at me. Not least because they are in bags and like very ready to go. So these projects have all come to the studio. They're all going into my big basket, and they are just so that I can see them regularly, and hopefully they'll be a bit of a focus because I want all of these blankets. More specifically, my children have now requested these blankets. So this one is going to be the last one that I work on. I'm going to get the other 2 done first. But this one is, so this is number 3 in the queue that I will get to. These are all Lay Family Yarn palette packs that she did when she did her rainbow club, when Kelly did her rainbow club. Now, Lay Family Yarn was one of my absolute first loves, and still is one of my loves, yarn dyeing in terms of indie dyed yarn. I absolutely love Kelly's yarn. It's gorgeous quality. Kelly's been doing what she does for a long time, and she's very good at it. And when I got this club, and I think I ended up buying, because I bought it in batches, I hadn't wanted to get a club, I hadn't planned to get a club, and then I saw it and I was like, I need this in my life. And yeah, caught up when I went to one of her retreats. I grabbed loads of the extras. I started this blanket the year that club was out, which might have been the year before last, I can't remember, and I loved it. But again, it's crochet and it's a lot of concentration. Now I don't know which side is the right side, which is probably a good thing. I think it's this side, even though maybe not. So I started this blanket. Again, I haven't got a stitch marker in, so I'm just happily unraveling my stitches like a numpty. I started this blanket, must have been 2 years ago, might have been 3, I have no idea. It's beautiful, but this is all I have. So it's not going to be massively huge, but I don't want it to be. It's just meant to be like a little lap blanket, but it's this beautiful shell stitch. But as I said before, crochet is not my forte. I need to really concentrate on crochet. Concentration time is always not like in abundance around here. So I need to get back to this because I want this blanket. This blanket is for me. It is beautiful and I want it. All the yarn that is coming up is beautiful. I want the rainbow. I want it. Yeah, I really, really, really want this blanket. So it's going in the basket and it is getting done. But it is also going to be the slowest and longest taking blanket to happen. Number 2, the one I will work on second, is this blanket. Now this is very old. If you've been a long time viewer, you've probably seen it before. I used scrappy advents I swapped with friends, or originally had started getting through Kelly Lay Family Yarns advent swap that she used to run. And I started a crochet blanket. Again, crochet, I cannot resist the crochet blankets. I just don't ever finish them, and I've just hit myself in the face with a stitch marker on camera. Amazing. So this is just a granny stitch. That is what it's called, isn't it? Granny stitch blanket. There is considerably more of this done, that's it lengthways, than the others. And I love it, and it's beautiful. It's a very holdy one. I can see through it quite well. But I love it. It's beautiful. I would like to keep it for myself, but Ellie really wants it. So my 7-year-old is desperate for this blanket. Now, I cannot give her a blanket and not give her brother a blanket, because when we were sorting through this stuff, she specifically said, can I have that? Can it be for me? And I said yes, because it's going to be in my house anyway, and I just love that they actually are knit worthy and love the stuff that I make. So I said yes, which meant that Alfie went, and I want a blanket. Well, as I was sorting through things, I found a Ziploc bag full of squares. Now, I think I might have talked about these before, but basically it was when I began yarn dyeing some of these, I was dyeing different colourways and making little granny squares with all of my different colours, and some of them, they're all in the old yarn base that I used to dye on, and some of them I really love. And I just thought, you know what, actually, I could make these into a blanket really easily. And he sat and laid them all out on the floor. So I have an order that he wants them in, and he loves all of them. His favourite colour is pink, and he kept moving when he was laying them out. It was this one. He kept moving this one all around the layout because he was going like, I like it here, but I like it here too. And yeah, his favourite colour is pink at the moment, and this is his favourite square, so I can't miss it out whatever I do. And well, what we worked out is that if I make, I think, 2 more squares, I can make a lap-size blanket for a 4-year-old easily. He wants it for his teddies anyway, so it doesn't have to be huge. So this is the first blanket that I'm going to finish, and I'm going to take it to Scotland because all of the squares minus 2 are done. So if I just make 2 more squares, and then I'm just going to grab some undyed yarn out of my stock and border them all and attach them all. And then his blanket will be done first because he is 4 and has less of an ability to wait nicely. Then Ellie's will be done second because it's simple, and that one I can just sit on the sofa and plough through. And I have tons of scraps from more scrappy advent swaps that I've done that I haven't used up yet that I can put into that. So that one will be 2. My Lay Family Yarn one will be third. That will be 3 advents out of stash. Oh, sorry, 3 blankets out of stash. I've just been interrupted by my husband. His office is opposite the building that I'm in, and we drove together today, and we need to leave in 5 minutes, so I need to be very quick now. So yeah, this blanket will be the first one to be finished, and I'm going to take it to Scotland. So I'm really hoping if I can be resilient and crochet through, but also if I can just have a little bit of stick-to-itiveness, is that even a word, then I can actually get this done. So that's my fingers crossed. Wish me luck, guys. Yeah, I would like this done first. So this is coming with me to Scotland. So that is a project that needs to be done. And then I have that. And then I have the shawl. So I have the shawl and the blanket. They're both coming to Scotland. I have another thing that's coming to Scotland. I don't know how much I think I'm going to get done in 1 week. But this is a skein of Clara, which is my Doctor Who Clara inspired colourway on DK, and I have pinched it while I've been getting my yarn, my stock out, while I've been moving everything over to the studio, and I pinched it because I am going to make a little something for someone I love who's having a baby, and I would like to make a beloved bonnet. I make a beloved bonnet for pretty much everybody's baby. When they have a baby, I make a beloved bonnet. So this is becoming a beloved bonnet for a gorgeous baby girl who is not yet with us, and I'm very excited for. So this is coming. I'm going to cake it up before I leave, and this is a must be done. So by the time I see you again, hopefully it will be done or even gifted. So when we go to Scotland, I must finish this bonnet, or I must make this bonnet. Haven't even started it yet. I must work on that blanket, and then for all of the in-between times when I need mindless knitting, I have my shawl. I have one more thing planned. I need to go and get it. Tripod over and it all went very wrong. Okay, this is my stash enhancements. My only stash enhancements. Technically not yarn. Well, actually, technically it might be yarn. I have seen these for ages. I have watched the Crazy Sock Lady podcast for a very long time, and I really, really enjoy watching her make all these tissue box covers. That, I mean, they look awesome. They look awesome. She's got this haunted house one that she'd done, and they're made from plastic canvas, and I think they're Mary Maxim ones, and I massively treated myself. I was in a bit of a slump. I was feeling a bit miserable. I hadn't got the keys to my studio yet. My dog is over there and he hasn't barked once, and I'm very proud, but he just moved and I was like, don't bark. Yeah, I hadn't got my keys yet for this place. I was just, everything had seemed to be going wrong. There was a lot of parenting stuff going on. I do volunteer work. I'm involved with my children's school. I'm also now becoming a brownie unit helper, my daughter's brownie unit, and I just felt very burnt out, and I treated myself to something. I ordered from the Mary Maxim website and had it delivered to the UK. I have ordered a bunch of tissue box holders. Yeah. This is one of the kits that I've ordered. It's, I don't know if you can see that through the plastic, but it's a goldfish bowl and I love it. Now, this isn't the one that I want to make very soon. I have another one. I can't show you what it is because it's a surprise for somebody else. So I have another one that I'm going to make. I will take a picture when I've finished it, hopefully gifted it to, and then I will share it once it's gifted. But the person that I want to gift it to, I think if I show it here, well, they might watch the podcast and then they'll see it and know that it's for them. So I don't want to spoil the surprise. But I also bought a haunted house one, and then I bought a couple of birdhouse ones because I needed to make use of the fact that I was paying for delivery to come from that far. A couple of birdhouse ones that I'm going to make, one for my grandma and one for my nanny, and give them to them for Christmas, either this year or next year, because we know how slow I am at all things. But yeah, I have a tissue box holder that I want to make before the next episode if I can. We'll see. I don't know where I think I'm going to get all the time for this making, but I also, when I get back from Scotland, have to carry on building IKEA furniture and setting this place up, and then getting back to work so I can actually earn some money because things are getting tight. Anyway, I think that was everything I was going to go through today. I'm not going to do a big life update on this one because there's going to be a studio video coming. There's going to be life updates in that. There's going to be loads more coming as I get myself sorted. And I've already talked for too long, and Chris will be here in any second and I have to go get the kids. So, yeah, if you've got all this way with me, thank you so much for listening, watching, and thank you so much, as always, for making me so much less of a lonely knitter.